Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Dartmouth School Committee to order for Monday, May 13th, 2024. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Well, good evening, everyone. It's great to see so many smiling faces here this evening. Could we have a roll call, please, Ms. Genther?
Chris Oliver.
Here.
Elizabeth Coughlin.
Here.
Mary Beckwith. Here. John Nunes.
Yep.
Kathleen Amaral.
Thank you very much. Ms. Amaral is under the weather, and she won't be joining us here this evening. I'd just like to remind everyone that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be rebroadcast on DCTV Channel 9 on the following days: Wednesday and Thursday at 5 p.m., Friday at 6 a.m., Saturday at 8 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. The meeting will also be rebroadcast on DCTV Channels 18 on Monday and Saturday at 12 p.m. and Thursday at 3 p.m. And as always, we thank Mr. Parati and the crew over here at Dartmouth High School Media for their support with videotaping these meetings. At this time, the school committee has allotted 10 minutes for anyone wishing to speak on any of tonight's agenda items. We'd ask if you would like to speak to approach the microphone, and please limit any comments for about 3 minutes. All right, I'll take that as no one is interested. That's fine. Thank you very much. Just would like to check with my colleagues what the committee's pleasure is. We'd like to, I'd like to take out of order the spotlight on kids and move it up as the next agenda item, since we have quite a large audience. Does anyone have any objections to that? Thank you. So, Dr. Saban McGuire, I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you so much. I have to say, I think this might be the most packed house that we've had this year. So welcome to our Potter School families. I'm sure I know we have staff here. Thanks so much for being here. And we have quite a contingent of students. So I'm going to turn it right over to Mr. Porter. And I know that you have some really good stuff to share with us tonight.
We certainly do, and we have an amazing contingent of students here. So good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to spotlight our students from Potter tonight. Tonight we'll have 2 presentations for you. Our fabulous assistant principal, Melissa McHenry, will introduce the work she and our 5th graders did to celebrate and educate our community about Arbor Day. We will then have our 3 5th grade representatives who will read their essays about gratitude as they get ready to leave Potter School and to head to the middle school. Now, all of our students' hard work presented here tonight was done under the guidance and leadership of our amazing 5th grade team. Our teachers who are here tonight, Mrs. Goodman, Mr. Dutra, and Mrs. Duran, our special education teachers, Mrs. Dias and Mr. Florent, and our most amazing grade 5 ESP who is also here tonight, Mrs. Braga. So let's give them a round of applause. They've done a nice job. So without further ado, here is Mrs. McHenry.
Good evening. We're thrilled this year to have collaborated with Sarah Liederman and Susan McLaren from the Dartmouth Tree Committee, along with Kyle Barry from Eversource, to celebrate Arbor Day at Potter School. Our students' journey began in late winter as they delved into the history and significance of Arbor Day, explored the diversity of trees in the community, and learned how to be active stewards of our environment. On April 26th, we gathered in our cafeteria for an assembly where 5th grade students, some of whom are here with us tonight, shared their research with our current 4th graders. Following the assembly, our 5th graders, accompanied by Ms. Liederman, Ms. McLaren, and guided by Mr. Barry, ventured out to our back playground to assist in planting 2 dogwood trees generously donated by Eversource. Each 5th grader, and actually each 4th grader as well, went home with a seedling to plant their own tree. But our celebration and education didn't stop there. Over the past few weeks, Each fifth grader visited classrooms from kindergarten up to grade 3, educating 325 of their peers on the importance of Arbor Day and caring for our planet. Tonight, we're delighted to have a few of our fifth grade researchers here to share what they've learned. Please welcome Addison Leary, Autumn Caju, Lincoln Wilkins, Dominic Pacheco, and Chase Amaral. And we'll begin with Addison.
Why are trees important? Trees are very important because it's crucial to existing and breathing. They are also important because they improve the air quality that they provide, and they benefit wildlife extremely. Unfortunately, people are cutting our trees down, which is not good for our environment. Speaking of that, Arbor Day is celebrating plants and trees, hoping for a greener tomorrow. Trees also help local communities. Trees are some of the most essential life resources on Earth, so Arbor Day and Earth Day are practically essential too. So get on outside, grab some seeds, and try to plant. It doesn't have to be a tree.
What are some trees we have at Potter? Well, some trees we have at Potter are some red maple trees, we have some eastern white pine trees at Potter, and some American beech trees.
We can identify trees mostly by the type of leaf they have bark, and fruits they can make. Red maple, eastern pine leaves, and American beech leaves.
How are we impacting our climate? First, we dispose of waste in the ocean. When we do this, the waste we put in the ocean gathers up, killing turtles and fish. Second, we cut down trees constantly. When we cut down just one tree, we cut down a home to multiple creatures. Next, we kill animals for sport. When we kill an animal, they never come back. Just imagine someone asking what a tiger is years to come. Finally, we waste energy. When we waste energy, for example, electricity, it causes methane to build up in our atmosphere, causing extremely hot summers and very cold winters. Let's make a change.
A focus on the future. While most holidays celebrate something that has already happened and is worth remembering, Arbor Day represents a hope for the future. The simple act of planting a tree represents a belief that the tree will grow and provide us with clean air, water, and a cooling shade, habitat for wildlife, healthier communities, and endless natural beauty, all for a better tomorrow.
In closing, we'd like to share a brief video highlighting some of the memorable moments from this special project. And before I start the video, I would just like to give a huge shout out and thank you to our fabulous instructional technology specialist, Ms. Chicka, for putting this together for us.
So at Potter School, we have the challenge now to make sure these trees stay alive and healthy, so we'll do fine. So next up, we have the privilege of listening to 3 remarkable 5th graders as they share their gratitude essays. It's a cherished tradition here at Potter for our graduating grade 5 students to reflect on their journey through heartfelt essays. This year, our focus is on gratitude. So please welcome Carter Gifford, Adriana Medeiros, and Jack Garth as they step forward to share their reflections. Up first is Adriana.
Hi, my name is Adriana Medeiros. I'm 10 years old, and I love Potter School. There are so many reasons I love Potter, but these are my top 3. 1, lunch and recess. Recess is so much fun, and lunch is delicious and amazing. 2, special areas are so much fun. 3, staff. They're so nice and helpful, like my teacher, Mr. Dutra. First, let's talk about lunch or recess. I love lunch with all the different flavors and things to try. And they also provide breakfast, which has an assortment of things to try. Like their sausage, egg, and cheese, which in my opinion is the best breakfast. And hot dog, which is the best lunch. Recess is so much fun. There are so many things to do, like play, basketball, or even just goof around in the playground. And during recess, if you were in 4th or 5th grade, you get a chance to help out with Miss Phillips, our gym teacher, with the kindergartners, which a lot of kids love to do. And those are my reasons I love lunch and recess. Second, let's talk about special areas like gym, art, music, and health. My class is library with Mrs. Jasmine, and it's very relaxing and makes me remember all the stories I listened to when I was in kindergarten. Miss Phillips is our gym teacher, and I love all the sports units we do. My favorite was soccer. It was so much fun to play against all my friends. We have health with Mrs. Richardson. She's teaching us about the danger of drugs and alcohol. We got to try out these junk goggles, and we all had to stay in a line, and nobody in my class stayed in the line. And in music, we play recorders and ukuleles and sing with Dr. Siegel. I love music, and Dr. Siegel is so nice. And for art, we have Mrs. Netto, and she comes up with great art ideas. And if we are stumped, she will always help us. And those are my reasons I love special areas. I saved the best for last, staff. They are all so nice and helpful through all 6 years of Potter. Some staff help us with things we need to work on, like math and reading, and from what I've heard, they're so nice and helpful. And all the assistant teachers and head teachers are so nice and helpful too. But I'm so glad to have Mr. Dutra, Mrs. Braga, and Mr. Florin as my teachers. And those are my reasons I love staff here at Potter School. I love Potter School, and I will miss when I go to middle school. So I'll miss it when I go to middle school, and so I will hope I will see everybody again after I'm gone. I'd also like to thank Mr. Porter and Mrs. McHenry for all the things they do here at Potter School. Thank you.
And up next, we have Jack Garth.
Good evening. My name is Jack Garth, and I've been a student at Potter Elementary for 6 years. Potter will always have a special place in my heart, whether it's the staff, the events, or the friends I've made along my journey through elementary school. One of the things that reminds me how great it has been at Potter School is the incredible staff. Let's start with Mrs. Tavares. Every morning when breakfast starts, I see my favorite monitor in the whole world. Mrs. Tavares is the best. She is always there for help as not only a monitor, but a friend. The second person that has made an incredible impact on my elementary school career is Mr. Nick. Mr. Nick has been at Potter a lot longer than I have. He is always open for a conversation or to help a kid, whether in the preschool or the 5th grade. The staff at Potter has and always will be the best in the town. My second reason why Potter is so special to me is because of the events here. At Potter every year, there are the annual events, and then there's the 5th grade activities. The annual events consist of the Boosterthon and Field Day. The Boosterthon is a fundraiser to help build a stronger school community. Field Day is an entire day of fun activities, indoors and outdoors. This consists of tug-of-war, pass the bucket, and races in a giant bouncy obstacle course. The 5th grade events consist of Greek Mythology Day and 5th Grade Day. Greek Mythology Day is a day where the 5th grade dresses up as someone from Greek mythology, and we have the Olympics, since the Olympics originated in Greece. 5th Grade Day is another day full of fun activities that are a surprise until the day comes. These are some really awesome experiences that I will never forget. Lastly, friends. My friends are my motivation to get up in the morning, the hope that they're in my class on the first day of school, and the excitement of seeing them in my class that day. I never had to worry about not having any friends because the teachers at the school helped not only me, but everyone find and make new friends. Some of my friends are Jacob, Weston, Brandon, Noah, Carter, and Ashton. They're all great friends but different people, whether it's Weston's jokes, Ashton's art, Carter's helpfulness, or knowing that Jacob will always be there for me. My friends are truly one of the best things that happened to me at Potter School. In conclusion, Potter will always be remembered in my heart. This has been a great experience, and I know that many generations to come will continue their journey at Potter School. Thank you.
And our last presenter tonight is Carter Gifford.
Hi, I, Carter Gifford, a 5th grade student in Mrs. Duran's class, am very grateful for my time at Potter School. Potter has helped me grow as a learner, especially in math. My school has given me the opportunity to make friendships some I've had since kindergarten. I am also thankful that our school has so many great traditions. The first reason I'm so grateful for Potter is the teachers. They have made learning fun and challenging for me. Each year I have grown as a learner. My journey at Potter School has been like a snowball rolling down a snowy hill. As it rolls, the snowball gets bigger. My brain is like that snowball and gets more knowledge each year from my teachers. Mrs. Durand, my current teacher, is preparing me for middle school. Mrs. Doucette has given me challenging math packets ever since I beat the last level of ST Math. Mrs. Fries, Mrs. Martino, Mrs. Lawrence, Ms. Oliveira, and Mrs. Porter have also taught me so much. Mr. Ledoux is a substitute, but he is very funny, but also has taught me so much. A second reason I am thankful for Potter School is because of the friendships I've made. Over the past 6 years, I have made many friendships. Some of them have even become close friends. Working with partners or in group work has helped me share experience and get to know others better and become their friend. I'm grateful for Potter, for the friends I have, and look forward to making new friends next year in middle school. The last thing that makes Potter School special is its traditions. The Super Bowl is a good way to help the community and is a fun competition between the classes. This year, my class won the Super Bowl with over 200 cans brought in. I am proud my class won, but also proud Potter School helped those in need in our community. The Halloween parade is a fun tradition to walk around in costumes and see everybody else's costumes in the school too. My favorite tradition is field day. Every year I look forward to field day because I get to spend the day outside with my friends having fun. I, Carter Gifford, have had a great time at Potter School. I am so grateful for my teachers, the friendships I've made, and all the traditions that make Potter so special. I will never forget all the great memories I have of these past 6 years.
So again, thanks for the opportunity to show off some of our amazing students who, through their words, and in our opinion, they have captured the essence of elementary education. It's important to recognize that while standardized testing such as MCAS holds its place in the academic landscape, it's not what truly defines the memory a child remembers about their time in elementary school. It is the intangible treasures of childhood, the laughter, the friendships, and the sense of wonder that make these years truly unforgettable. And as we just celebrated Staff Appreciation Week, let us extend our heartfelt gratitude to all of the Dartmouth educators who, through their tireless efforts, are shaping the future, one precious memory at a time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Porter, Ms. McHenry, for this fabulous presentation, and to all your students. All very well spoken. I'm going to turn it over. We'll start down at that end of the table. Mr. Nunes?
I'm blown away. I really am. Sorry about that. Fantastic job between Arbor Day, yes. Good luck, because if I was taking care of it, I've got a brown thumb, so it wouldn't work type
That's
of
what we have
deal.
Mrs. Goodman. She's going to take care of it for us.
Perfect, there you go. That's good. But seriously, thanks to everyone that put that video together, to the students for their work, the 3 students that just spoke. Fantastic. And I'm proud of the bunch of you. You did a real nice job, very eloquent, and all on different topics, different ideas. And the best one was the luncheon recess. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I just want to thank you all the students and Mr. Porter and Mrs. McHenry. I really got a great sense of the Potter School and what's important there, and the range of things and opportunities that are available to all of you that it seems like all of you took advantage of. So I just want to thank you all for coming in tonight and sharing your thoughts and ideas with us.
Thank you.
And based on your presentation, I'd say you're all ready for middle school. you are all very well spoken and poised. It doesn't seem to bother you at all to get up and speak to the public. I love that. I really enjoyed hearing that community was the essence of the school that you're really going to take forward. Friends, staff, and traditions. Terrific. The other thing I really liked was that you as older students are already teaching younger students, not only with your Arbor Day education, teaching the younger grades, that was fabulous, but also at recess, if you're a fifth grader, you get to teach or help teach phys ed. I think that's fabulous. What a great experience. So thank you. Thank you for presenting.
And I'll wrap up. So it's very clear to me that each and every one of you have had a very unique and wonderful experience, it sounds like, at Potter School, and I see some head shaking there. So that just speaks to the wonderful staff that Dartmouth truly does have. And it's great to see the partnership with Eversource and Arbor Day. That's something that since I've been on the committee, I've heard of it. So I know that there's opportunities out there, but I'm happy to see that Potter School is working with these partnerships. But congratulations to each and every one of you. Best of luck in middle school, and you should all be proud for the presentations that you gave this evening. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
And at this time, we invite the audience. Any of you you're more than welcome to stay, but we understand that everyone has other obligations, so please feel free. You certainly do not need to stick around, but you're more than welcome to. And great job to everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Congratulations to the parents.
And grandparents.
And grandparents.
Yes, congratulations to the parents and grandparents.
Very cute. What happened to our crowd?
What's that?
What happened to our crowd?
Where are you all going?
All right, moving along. We'll go over the minutes. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the regular session minutes for April 22nd, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. On the motion, any further discussion? Chair hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Next up, I'll turn it over to our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Saban McGuire, for Superintendent Certificate of Academic Excellence.
So thank you, Mr. Oliver. Obviously, listening to our fifth graders, we have a lot to look forward to as we watch our students grow through the Dartmouth schools. And at the same time, this evening, we get to share with you some information about two high school seniors here from Dartmouth High School who were selected to receive the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents Certificate of Academic Excellence. This annual award honors seniors across the state who have demonstrated distinguished academic performance and personal contributions to their high school communities. And while we're proud to announce the names of these students, much like their athletic classmates, who we were hoping were going to be here tonight, our captains, who will be at the June meeting, by the way, they're all quite busy. They have pretty full agendas. And so, although neither one of them could attend this evening, both will be recognized at the upcoming Senior Awards Night. So we thought it would be a good idea for us to share this here at School Committee with the knowledge that at the same time they would have an opportunity to be in person. And so what I'd like to do is not only share the names of those students, but also to read to you a little bit about what the teachers, what staff here has said about them. And so I'm going to start with Brooke Davis. She's our first recipient, and Brooke embodies excellence in every aspect of her life at DHS, showcasing exceptional leadership, dedication, and compassion. Brooke excels academically with an impressive 4.2 GPA out of 4.3. Brooke demonstrates genuine curiosity and a desire for knowledge as seen through her academic performance. Throughout her time at Dartmouth High School, Brooke has undertaken a challenging academic load, completing 8 AP classes and earning the title of AP Scholar with distinction, with the AP Capstone Award as well as within reach before the end of this year. Beyond academics, Brooke is a 3-sport athlete. Probably one of the reasons she's not here this evening is she participates in volleyball, winter track, and spring track. Brooke has consistently exhibited remarkable athleticism, discipline, and sportsmanship. She has a rare combination of talent and determination that has led to numerous achievements and accolades on her teams, including being a captain on all 3 teams, as well as breaking a 10-year school record for the number of digs on the volleyball team. Brooke's ability to be a leader in multiple sports is a testament to her unwavering determination and passion for athletics. She's a dedicated teammate and inspires all those around her. If that's not enough, Brooke is also a class officer and actively involved in multiple clubs and activities. Her dedication to the class of 2024 as class treasurer has been remarkable. Her ability to juggle her academics, extracurricular activities, sports, and duties as a class officer is something to admire. Brooke has truly maximized her experience at DHS. Brooke's most notable qualities, though, lie in her kindness and compassion. Described by all her teachers as more than just an outstanding student and athlete, Brooke's infectious smile and genuine positivity leave a lasting impression on everyone she encounters. It is impossible to be in a bad mood after speaking with Brooke. Brooke has committed to the University of North Carolina. She will pursue a career in neuroscience. We all know that she will do great and continue to represent the very best of Dartmouth and leave a lasting impression wherever she may go. So I'm exhausted just reading all that, and certainly she's a student who clearly is well-deserved of this recognition. And so just want to take the time here at our school committee night just to congratulate Brooke and her family. So I'll move on to Pertha Patel. Pertha Patel is a dedicated student who knows her education will help her achieve her goal of making a difference in the world. She desires to obtain a degree from an undergraduate program focusing on foreign policies and history, eventually leading to a graduate program in immigration law to help immigrants in the United States. Her aspirations in foreign policy and immigration law stem from a profound I'm going to move ahead a little bit. This passion is not just merely an idea. Pertha has actively pursued a summer internship working with immigration. She has a role as a mentor to new students at Dartmouth High School and demonstrates her genuine care for her peers and community. Academically, Bertha's brilliance shines with her impressive GPA of 4.16 out of 4.3 and her completion of 8 AP classes. Her achievement as an AP Scholar with Honors in 2023 reflects consistent excellence in AP exams, scoring only a 4 or 5 on each exam. Teachers commend her insightful writing and analytical strengths, noting her ability to navigate complex ideas and philosophies with ease. Even with a rigorous course load, Pertha took part in a dual enrollment course in anthropology at Bristol Community College during her junior year. Beyond the classroom, Pertha's kindness extends into her community. For over 6 years, she has selflessly cleaned area benches, supporting the environment for others without seeking recognition. As a founding member of the Women's Empowerment Club, Pertha has been an advocate for her female peers. Her impact extends far beyond academics and community service. She is a role model to her peers, mature beyond her years, kindness, and a genuine passion for learning. Her ability to foster connections across disciplines enriches the classroom experience for all, creating an environment where everyone feels valued and supported. Even in moments of celebration, such as completing an AP test, Pertha's joy for the whole group brings in bubbles brought in bubbles to the delight of those around her. Bertha has just committed to the Honors College at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Apparently that was a decision just made over the weekend. The DHS community takes pride in Bertha's accomplishments and is confident that she will continue to thrive wherever her path leads. Her kindness, intellect, and compassion will undoubtedly leave a lasting impact, inspiring others to follow in her footsteps. Again, exhausting to read all the accomplishments of these two wonderful young ladies, and we couldn't be any prouder and look forward to seeing what they're going to do next, because they certainly have laid out a path for themselves.
Well, thank you. That's a lot to take in.
Sure is.
I'm certainly still processing everything you had said, Dr. Sapin-Maguire. So, first of all, congratulations to both Brooke and Prutha.
Prutha. Is it Prutha?
That's what I have in my
Okay. Yep. Okay.
my notes here. An honor well deserved. Just one of the things that makes Dartmouth so special, and I couldn't be more proud of our senior class, especially these two individuals, and I'm sure that down the road we're going to see great things from them. So congratulations to them both.
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations to them both. I feel like they're making kids different than they made them when I was a kid. Really impressive. I'd also like to point out that maybe the Dartmouth school system had something to do with their success in the number of AP courses we offer, for the quality of teachers that have taught them through their years here. And I know that when they go on to greater heights, that they will represent us fantastically. So proud of them and all the other students here, but hats off.
Well, I have the good fortune to have known Brooke Davis since she was a very little girl, since preschool. And it doesn't surprise me in the least what she has accomplished as a high school student. And both are so impressive when you see the numbers of AP classes and the GPA, while still successfully being very involved in the community. So, yes, we do, we do have very, very special students here, and I'm glad we have the opportunities to provide for them to succeed as they have.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to follow up on that. It shows the well-roundedness that our students have, and I think of, Mr. Shea's comments, when he's talking about Dartmouth High School, that, the school day doesn't end at 2:03 and such. You really wonder sometimes how these students, I mean, I know it's time management and such, but boy, God bless them, because I have no idea how they, 3 sports, 8 AP classes, everything else that Bertha did, 8 AP classes, that type of deal. It's unbelievable what they do. I think it shows what we have for students, type of deal. And it also is a reflection on our administration and our faculty to take the time and make sure these students are working right and doing what needs to get done to make them successful in the future. Them and all of our students, type of deal. So congratulations to those two and to everyone.
Agreed. Well said, Mr. Nunes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Wonderful news.
Thank you, and again, even though they couldn't be here, we thought it was important to share this at school committee, so thank you.
Absolutely.
Anytime we can talk about kids is a good thing.
That's right.
That's right.
Agreed. All right, next up is a presentation, Student Opportunity Act.
And so Mrs. Paveo's going to come and join us and discuss the recent submission of our Student Opportunity Act. As you know, the Student Opportunity Act was, and Mrs. Paveo is going to talk about the history, somewhat of the history and what it is, so I won't take up any of her time, but I just want to say that one of the aspects of submitting the Student Opportunity Act in Dartmouth that I feel really confident about is how closely it connects to work that's already started here this year, and it was really important to us as a school district that what we submitted to the state wasn't merely, as Mrs. Paveo likes to say, a check, a check to check the box, checkbox, but actually something that we're invested in, and you're going to see that this has a clear connection to what we're doing through district strategic planning.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. So I am here to talk about the Student Opportunity Act and just a little background on what it is. The SOA was enacted in 2019, and overall Massachusetts tends to lead the nation on many measures of student learning experiences, student achievement, and post-secondary success for our students. But a closer look reveals inequitable gaps in experiences and in outcomes across racial and ethnic groups in economically disadvantaged communities compared to higher income communities, for students with disabilities relative to their non-disabled peers, and for our English language learners and compared to students whose first language is English. And so the law was intended to inject some funding into the Commonwealth's educational system with a focus on providing funding in districts serving students with the greatest needs. Subtext, we don't get any money. However, I'll talk about that a little bit more. However, the law also includes a provision that requires districts to set clear targets. And so in that regard, it is very similar to a district strategic plan. So the main difference, if you want to think about it, is a strategic plan serves as a comprehensive set of goals for all students across the district. The SOA really is a spotlight sort of shown in on one area of disparity to go after. And as you'll see, the state really, there's not a lot of creativity in creating this plan. There are some preset targets which you select from using your data to select from that. As to how you feel like you would make the best shrinking in those gaps. So the requirements of the SOA, it's a 5-section document that you submit to the state. The first is just a summary. The second is an analysis of data, and I think once we dive into that, you're gonna feel like maybe a little sense of deja vu. We are setting some ambitious 3-year targets, and I'll talk more about that. There's one of the things that I appreciate about the SOA is that there's a requirement around family engagement and talking about how you're going to bring your families in and keep them involved. And then really the meat of it is that what are you going to do, right? So we'll get into that. When we look at our data, this is certainly not the first time you've heard us talk about student achievement data. We recently spoke about while we continue to have very good overall student achievement, we also have a need to hang a sign on some of our areas for growth. So specifically tonight, we acknowledge that disparities exist in the number of students in the all students and low income subgroup who are meeting and exceeding standards on the grades 3, 6, 8, and 10 grade MCAS in both ELA and in MCAS. And additionally, there are some significant disparities between all students and low-income students with respect to our graduation rate, as well as our ninth graders who are passing all subjects. So one of the things that the state, they send out lots of data, right? And this is called their heat map. And so this is came along with the SOA application, really kind of a narrow focus on some of that data. It's not new data to us. We've seen it before. You can see the sort of key in the corner that talks about student groups that are meeting or exceeding, not meeting, and then the greatest disparities of that sort of red hot heat map section. So this is our, that chronic absenteeism that we're talking about, our ninth graders passing and our graduation rate. And then this is very familiar to all of you. This is our MCAS data and our growth data. And so, I'm going to come back to the bottom part of this slide really talks about, so that's great, what are we going to do about it? And so what we know is that early literacy really is the best indicator of future success. And this is why I told Dr. Stephen McGuire I don't mind talking about something that's not necessarily going to yield us what it may be intended to, because we're going to still put our heart and soul and we're going to do a lot of work around this, and that's early literacy. And we know that 95% of students can learn to read when they are provided with high quality research-based instructional materials. And so our plan is written around something that is very near and dear to my heart, and we've talked about before, which is bringing in high quality instructional materials to our elementary students in the area of literacy. So, when we talked about setting those ambitious targets, really, the state provides those targets for us. So, one of the things that DESE has done is to create a lowest performing students category. Enveloped in that category, as you can imagine, if we're talking about greatest disparities, are the students that we're talking about targeting. So they are enveloped in that lowest performing students category, and the state will set targets over time for where they expect you to go to show growth with those groups. It's one streamlined measure that shows districts' progress. We certainly have many of our own, certainly around the area of early literacy. We're talking about our DIBELS data. We have our dyslexia screeners that we're giving to all students K to 3. And so this is the one that's kind of out of our control, but we do it anyway. And we have many other sources of data that we continue to look at to really just look at the efficacy of the things that we're putting in place for our students. For family engagement, I think we can really, I'm very proud of the work that Dartmouth Public Schools has done to try to hear the voice of all of our stakeholders through the superintendent's entry planning, through some of the work that Mr. Tebow and I did with Portrait of a Learner. We've really tried to get the voice of our students, of our families, of our stakeholders, through surveying, through interviewing, through Dr. Saber McGuire's relentless schedule that she keeps up with talking to students and all of her advisories that she comes to. And we are going to continue to do that. You know, we had a very successful family forum earlier this year, and I think the fact that we were able to garner some questions from families before that event really helped us to tailor our presentation, and that's something that we hope to continue to do, is to really seek out from families, and you know, that's our customers, if you will, right? We're a business of children, and so our customer base are the families that we serve. So we really need to seek out from our families what it is they want to know from us, and it helps us to tailor then what we're sharing with them. And we will continue to sort of monitor our participation rates, especially with that low income and with some of our subgroup families. And you know, we have different ways that we can target that and make sure that they are involved in what we're doing. So, what are we actually doing? So I know this will be a shocking revelation, but the state also has pre-selected targets for which you are supposed to select, and then you can really talk about how you're going to do it. So I obviously went around high quality, engaging instructional materials that support culturally and linguistic practices to foster deeper learning, and we're talking about a comprehensive approach to early literacy. What does that actually mean? Those are their words, this is their self-select, and this is what it looks like. So you may have heard me talk a little bit about my curriculum teams, who are my they're the people who really do a lot of great work in this district. It's teachers and interventionists and coaches and people who have a whole full plate, who are willing to step up and be a part of this work and dig deep into some of the work that we're doing around curriculum. So our ELA team this year, well, I'll back up a little bit actually. So we knew that we needed to address some foundational reading skills, as I've talked to you about before. And so we brought in Foundations to address some phonics, Haggerty, which addresses phonological awareness, and we're really looking at a core instructional shift. We currently use the Lucy Calkins units of study, and I'm not going to really delve too deeply into that tonight, but we know that we have to make a shift right now towards the science of reading and a high-quality instructional-based program. So this team has met with 4 next week, meeting with their 5th publisher It's been a really great process to listen to the different companies who come in and they talk to us about what they have to offer in terms of professional development, in terms of programming for students, in terms of what students are actually experiencing with the programmatic pieces in front of them. They have, and they are a very discerning team, I must say. So, of the 4 teams that we have, the 4 companies we've met with, we have 1 who they have moved on to the next round, and 3 who we have, I affectionately say, sort of broken up with. And so we have another meeting next week with high hopes for another knowledge-based program, so that we can really get into a pilot next year with 2 programs. I appreciate Dr. Saban-McGuire's commitment to kind of going slow to go fast to make sure that we do this right. And so what that means is that this core team of teachers, along with making sure we have representation at all grade levels at all schools, will engage in some professional development and then teach both pilot programs. And there's a lot of work that kind of goes into that. We have an established policy around curriculum adoption. It has a lot of rubrics that we use to make sure that we are culturally sensitive and relevant, and all of the things that need to be in place are in place. And then once that team inevitably decides on a program, the work then becomes around training our teachers so that they feel like they are ready to implement this program fully in the fall of 2025. And so in addition to that, sort of, I'll say concurrently, but separately from the program piece of it, is the making sure that we give good professional development around the science of reading. And so that sort of builds the why, right? So when you're talking about investing a lot of money in a new program, there has to be buy-in and there has to be an understanding of why we're going in this way. And so really, for me, the best way to do that is to create that knowledge base around why this is so important with our educators. And there's been a lot of shifts over time, but really, the science of reading is not new. And so we just need to kind of get back to what it's telling us is the best for our students. And then once we have that under our belts, we can talk about the tool we will use to deliver that. And our hope is that beginning in the fall of 2025, all of our students will be engaged with the new literacy program K-5. And so, how will we measure if what we're doing is working? So we talk about an increase of high quality instructional materials in your district, an increase in the efficacy of the implementation. And so what that means is making sure that we're also training our administrators on what they should be looking for as they're walking through our classrooms. It's great to say that our teachers are trained, but if they're not able to get feedback from somebody about how they're doing with it, it's really difficult to continue to grow. So making sure that our coaches and our administrators who are giving feedback to our teachers are really also well-versed in what we're doing. An increase in the use of screeners. We are already well in compliance with the state of Massachusetts on our early literacy screening. A decrease in our students who are requiring Tier 2 and Tier 3 support. So when we're talking about the amount of intervention that students need, we really should be seeing those numbers go down. And along with that, I'm going to skip over one, seeing the number of students who are meeting and exceeding standards on MCAS and other measures going up, as well as their growth, right? And so the growth percentile is something that we pay really close attention to, especially when we're talking about our subgroups of students. Achievement is one measure, but really the growth is the growth of that student among themselves and other students who are performing similarly to them. And so what we want to see is, even if our achievement is not where we want it to be for certain students, they themselves are growing in comparison to their peers. And then also, though it's not one of the subgroups that the SOA is focused on, we do want to see an increase in academic language achievement for our English learners as measured by the local data that we collect on that. So that was a mouthful. And so I'm going to stop right there, and I will take any questions that you might have.
Any of my colleagues?
Sure.
Mr. Nunes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're right, it is a mouthful. two questions. I'll kind of have to take I think the easy one for us. I'm not sure. You talked about, you've interviewed 4. One is, you've got one type of deal. You've got one more to go type of deal. Now, are you going to work with 2, or you now then sit down if?
What if
one
we hate them? Is that what you're asking me?
No, if the one that comes in next week is also excellent
Yeah.
type of.
So they really
You're going to go back and try to
no,
figure out.
we would run a 2-program pilot at that point,
Okay.
where you teach both, and so that's really where I talk about the heavy lift and the commitment of that team. They're making a commitment to really learn something that they know in the end they're not going to do, but that commitment is I want to make sure that I know it and I do it well enough that I can really gauge whether this is something I want to put in the hands of all of my fellow educators and the students in front of me. So if we hate it, I think that's the other part of that question, is you can also talk about running a field test with one program. It's not the ideal. I really have high hopes, and I think that we will be okay with our other program. I have a lot of job-like colleagues in these 2 programs that we are looking at tend to be the 2 that rise to the top.
I just want to support what Mrs. Paveo was saying, because one thing that we've had lots of conversation around and we want to be really clear about is there needs to be choice here. The idea of if we just pilot one program, that means that we've already selected the program and here it is. Right. And so what we are committed to is to ensuring that teacher voice, and of course the teachers on the curriculum committee are incredible, really important and critical to this process. And at the same time, we want to expand that access so that when we do launch something new in 2025, that it's something that people feel like they had a part in having that opportunity to make decisions. So I really appreciate this effort.
So just to piggyback on that for a second, I mean, if this one comes in type of deal and is really not that great, does the possibility exist of going back to one of the other 3 and saying?
Yeah, I tongue-in-cheek say it's a breakup letter, but it's not really, right?
Yeah.
We're in a holding. You just kind of get in a holding pattern, and it's what these companies do, and they know that.
Yeah.
I will say, I think that our team is very clear about, when I said they were a discerning team, the programming that you look at tend to fall into 2 categories. One is a knowledge-based program, and one is more of a traditional basal-based program, and they are very committed to a knowledge-based program. And so there are multiple opportunities out there for that. But we will absolutely, one of the things that Dr. Saber McGuire just talked about is teacher voice. And I think knowing the sort of past and the history of the curriculum selection has been a real asset for me, and we know I'm very well aware that our teachers want to feel like they have a strong piece in this, as they should.
Yeah.
Right, they're the ones that at the end of the day, I always say our job is to lift the load so that they can do the really important work, and so they're the ones who are doing that work every single day, and they absolutely should, and they have a really strong voice and a really smart voice, and it would really be foolish of me not to listen to it. So
That's it. Okay. And I had written that down when you had started talking, but, we're not getting any funding from the state for this.
So we're not.
Still not, or are we still, is there still
we
a
get funding from the
possibility?
state, so just not in this
Not in this-
line,
in
right?
this
And
line,
so.
okay.
I'm just going to, again, jump in there, because what we don't know yet is, there is a bill, and we don't know how far it's going to go, but connected to the Governor Healy's commitment to literacy across the entire state. So we have to kind of watch what's going on at the State House level and see where that lands, because and not that we want them to go down that road, by the way. We're doing this work not because the state's telling us to do this work. We're doing this work because we know it's the right thing to do for us. But at the same time, if there's some funding opportunities, we want to take advantage of that. And we are going to be so well poised to do that based on the work that's happening right now. I think if that opportunity arises, we're going to be able to take advantage of it immediately.
And so these are 3-year plans, right? And so we'll have to sort of wait and see. All districts across the Commonwealth submit at the same time. They're all on the same 3-year cycle.
Yeah.
And so plans have been submitted, and we shall see what the outcome of them are.
thank you for this, and thank you to yes, the
Thank
staff
you.
and the teachers that are doing, as you say, the grunt work.
Yeah,
Much
thank you.
appreciated. It is appreciated.
So just a quick question. So will the 2 pilot programs be ready to go in September?
Yes.
And can you just give us a sense of what that might look like and, you know?
Sure. So both of them, or really all of them at this point, right, work through modules or units. And so teachers will teach a module from both. And so as they continue to do that, as I referenced before, there's a curriculum adoption process and policy that's been adopted through the district. And so they gather data as they do that. So they're gathering data about student engagement. They're gathering data about kind of, you know, the assessments that go along with those programs, the assessments that we give, and they're gathering data about the program itself. Teacher usability, right? So there's a lot of different sort of categories that go into that rubric. I'm happy to share it with you. It's on our website, actually, if you want to see it. But it really goes through the gamut of content, pedagogy, usability, student engagement, cultural diversity. There are a lot of different categories in there. And so when I say we don't take it lightly, it's not just I read it, I like it, and I just kind of like it, but I'm not really sure why. There's a lot of reasoning and a lot of data that goes into that collection. So we have some quantitative data that goes along with our gut feeling about what we feel like should happen.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it's really sad that the state isn't giving us any money at this point for it. And I was aware that we're waiting on this bill, and I'm hoping that they will help pay for some aspect of higher quality curriculum in terms of literacy. I guess I think 100%, if we can get 95% of the students to read, our students will be more engaged. They will go home happy, and they will want to come back. They will start coming to school more, those groups that aren't. I think that's a great target, even though we were targeting this before we had to go through this process. I am curious what happened in the last round. Where were we, and where are we now in terms of the SOA?
So it was a plan written by the administration prior to us. It was around instructional materials. You can go on and read the whole thing. You do have to do updates on it annually. That's part of the cycle of it. Funding-wise, they didn't really receive anything, but that still doesn't lift the requirement of you to update on what you're doing, and the targets don't go away. And so I would be happy to dig into it with you. I will be perfectly honest, my goal was really around writing a brand new plan in light of our district strategic planning, in light of where we're going, not building on an existing plan. But you know, I'm happy to dig into that with you if you'd like to.
I'm just curious, you know, the state comes up with these ideas, and
Yes.
I know we're working on it regardless of what the state is doing, but I'm just curious if the state's actually helping to move us forward as well as moving other schools forward.
Are you asking if the state is actually helping us move
Well,
forward?
I mean, this is a big requirement that is costing not only money in curriculum, but time, teachers' time. So their time is being taken away from something to work on this.
Well, I think that's why our commitment was to not writing a plan that was going to live in isolation, right? And so the requirements are, we have a lot of requirements from the state that we always try to weave into what we're doing when we talk about strategic planning, when we talk about our path about where we want to go, when we talk about our vision for our students and our goals for our students. The best way, you know, any plan that you're required to write, the best way to do it is to make it work so that those two things can be cohesive together. If we were going to write a plan to sit on a shelf, you're right, that's a waste of everybody's time. So our best bet always is to say, what's the requirement? What do we know we need to do, and how can we mesh those two things together? So it certainly took time. I don't look at it as time wasted, because it's time really articulating what we know we need to do, whether this plan was in existence or not. And the time that the teachers are taking and the time that we're putting into this is really valuable time that is really going to pay forward as we bring in these high quality instructional materials that we very much need. And so this process is not going to be sort of to elementary literacy alone. We know that we need to bring high quality instructional materials across many different curriculum areas. And so I actually am very appreciative of the opportunity to kind of get in there with the teams and work through this process. I have gotten a lot of really positive feedback from the teachers who are doing this work as well. They really feel appreciative of being part of the process. I think they feel like their voice is being heard, and they've learned a lot along the way, which is a win for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we're looking at the data, and I'm glad we are moving forward and getting input from everybody, and I'm sure that the statistics will improve.
So thank you, Katie. I appreciate the presentation. I think we all did. It's very helpful to certainly see what's going on in Dartmouth. Two things I guess I'll say. One being I am certainly disappointed with the lack of funding, but hopeful that maybe with a new bill, maybe Dartmouth will benefit. But at the very least, we are looking at, you're spending a lot of time digging into the weeds as to what this district needs for curriculum resources. And I'm really happy to hear that this district is listening and getting the teachers involved in this process. They're the ones, like you said, they're the ones that at the end of the day are living this day in and day out. We're doing the heavy lifting. You're doing the heavy lifting. So I'm thrilled to we're giving our educators a voice, essentially a voice at the table, to pilot two different programs. And I certainly appreciate this methodology as to because you're absolutely right. If we were to just pilot one program, it's a done deal, and we need to create buy-in. And the best way to do that is to offer two different programs. So no, I'm happy. I'm happy that the district is moving in this direction with curriculum, and we'll see where it takes us. We do need a vote on this to send this to the state, right? To file it with the state.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So, any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion that we forward the Student Opportunity Act as presented tonight to the Department of Education. I'm assuming that's where it's going to go.
Second.
Motion by Mr. News, the second by Ms. Beckwith. On the motion, any other discussion?
Well done. Keep us posted.
Will do.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries unanimously,
Thank you
4-0.
very much. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for all your work and for everyone's work. All right, next up, consent agenda, SMEC FY25 request for permission to lease classroom space.
Mr. Kiley's going to jump right in on that one.
All right. So you've been provided with the proposed lease for the Southeastern Massachusetts, excuse me, fighting a cold here, Educational Collaborative for one classroom at Dartmouth High School, one office space at Dartmouth High School, and two classrooms at the Quinn School. These are rooms that are currently rented this school year to SMEC. The SMEC board has approved a 3% increase for fiscal year '25 to the lease rates, and funds that we receive will be utilized to maintain the buildings. I recommend you vote to approve the lease. The lease rate is $9,718 per classroom and $4,012 for the office space, for a total of just over $33,000.
Thank you, Mr. Kiley. Obviously, we have the room, no concerns with space.
We do not.
We do not have concerns.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve the memorandum of agreement between the school committee and Southeastern Massachusetts Educational Collaborative for the classroom leasings of FY25 as provided.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Nunes, second by Ms. Coughlin. On the motion, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously, 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kyler. Next up, under old business, I think this was just a quick little update. School committee organization, school assignments. Dr. Saban McGuire.
Yep. So at the April 8th meeting, you had asked that we check in with our principals about the current arrangement of really having each one of you have access to the schools, and whether or not principals felt that having each of you individually be assigned to a school would be a benefit. And after conversation with them, they honestly are really very happy, pleased with the way things stand. They feel as if any one of you reach out to them to ask for a tour or questions or whatever it may be, that they feel very comfortable having any one of you connect with them. And they also wanted to make sure that you know that you're very welcome to visit their schools, and that they actually enjoy having you there, and they love to show off what's happening in their buildings. And so you should feel really comfortable doing that. One of the things that they do ask is they always want to know, and not that this is like a requirement, but just because if you call them and ask them to come and visit them, they'll call me. So it's just, yep, I know, and just so you know, Mr. Oliver is going to be reaching out to you, and he wants to come and see the TV studio, whatever it may be. So, but other than that, like, they feel really comfortable with the way things stand.
That's great. Any concerns, questions? Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Saban McGuire. New business, superintendent's update.
Okay, and so again, like, I know if anybody is watching from September to now, they'll say, oh my goodness, this is so cliche. But can you believe how fast this year is going by? I mean, I think we just all have to acknowledge that here we are in the middle of May. And what I'm really sensing, like, being really part of the district as opposed to last year, at this time I was here as a visitor, is just how much energy and excitement that are present in all the schools. I mean, certainly here at the high school, we're gearing up for graduation, and that's a really big deal, but there's so much happening in every single one of the buildings. I mean, you could hear it from our young fifth graders that were here from the Potter today. Believe me, even leaving fifth grade, there'll be tears, and tears of joy, but it's bittersweet. So lots of really great things, and that's what I mean when I talk to you about visiting schools. Like, now is a really great time of year to go see what's happening in terms of the celebratory just atmosphere that exists in all of the schools. And so I wanted to just mention that. I'm going to talk about a little bit about teaching and learning. I want to keep giving you an update on where we are with kindergarten registration. And so we have been paying a lot of attention to how we're doing with the number of registrants and how that compares even to where we were last year at this time. Gemma has been super helpful in making sure that happens. And so at this point, there are 92. If you remember at the last meeting, there were 75, but there are 92 completed registrations. And so that is, again, up from 75. We still have 15 that are nearly completed, 11 recently begun. So this has us around 128. But we're paying close attention, and we're going to continue to remind folks that registering for kindergarten is really critical to making sure that we have the infrastructure in place to support our students. So again, individual schools, it seems like it's pretty even across the district as to where the students are assigned. If you remember, we had talked about having a kindergarten showcase, and it was going to be district-wide. We've kind of reversed that decision, and we've done that because of some of the feedback we've received, not only from school-based folks, but some of the families, and also because we've been able to make that decision to move the Cushman kindergartners to the DeMello. And that was our worry at the time when we were planning this, that if we didn't have that in place, that we wouldn't be able to assign our students, and we didn't want to create confusion. But now that that's done, we think that it is better for all involved to give the families the opportunity to get into the schools, the students, the new incoming kindergartners, to start to get to know really the physical environment that they're going to be in. So schools are planning for a kindergarten showcase, and we've gone back to doing that on an individual school basis. We think that was the right thing to do. So I also want to mention the strategic planning meeting. We had one last Wednesday. Again, we have Mr. Nunes and Mrs. Coughlin, who is on the district strategic planning team. We think we're making some really good progress. I think that the folks that are helping to facilitate that have been able to look at even what we did at our last meeting around planning for or reporting out on what our entry findings are, and making sure that they are aligned with the work that we're doing as a district strategic planning team. And the beauty of it is that really all the same data that we used to present our entry findings a couple of weeks ago is the same exact data the district strategic planning team is looking at. And interestingly enough, the 4 categories that we chose to focus on really mirrored what we presented a couple of weeks ago at school committee. So we think that that's moving along in, I think, a really great pace. And at the same time, we're making sure that we're not going so fast, that we're not doing our due diligence, because this is going to be a 5-year plan. And that doesn't mean we can't make modifications along the way, but we want to get it pretty close to right out of the starting gate. So that's going to be really important, and we look forward to coming to you as a full committee and being able to talk more in depth about where we are with strategic planning over the summer. So I just wanted to also update you on personnel, HR, budget. We've had the interviews for the early childhood director, and I think I mentioned at the last meeting we were pretty confident that we had a great pool. We were also confident that we found a highly qualified individual to fill this role. It's not quite final yet, but we're getting there, and we expect that at our June meeting we'll be able to have that person here to introduce to all of you. I just want to thank Laurie Denisio and her team. It was a truly inclusive process. It included educators in the building. That process also included parents, some folks from central office, again, and that's what we want to make sure that the process is transparent and people have an opportunity to meet the candidates and to voice their own opinions about the direction for this very important position. But next I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Kiley because he does have some updates that he wants to share with you related to the budget.
Yep. Two quick updates. So speaking of the SOA, state aid from Chapter 70 education funding. So the Senate and the House have both acted on the budget for fiscal year 25. Both proposals now match. And they increase the governor's proposed $30 per student income increase to us to $104 per student. So a significant increase. What that means is an increase of $243,000 over the governor's proposal. That money goes directly to the town. It's a $341,000 increase in total over fiscal year 24's dollars. Those funds don't come directly to us, but they are available to the town. Total Chapter 70 funding last year, to give you a little bit of perspective, was $10,449,331. So pretty significant increase acted by the legislature. What what you would call a minimum aid district, which is our only hope to get any additional funds from the state is an act like this, where this is the minimum amount that that a district like us, really a maximum amount that we can expect. So that was good news, and it remains to be seen how the town's going to utilize those resources. I also wanted to update you on what's on the town meeting warrant as it relates to our capital improvement plan requests. So there's a few items on there. The fire system upgrades, design work for the Potter and DeMello schools for $50,000. That is on the town meeting warrant. Flooring replacement, this is to continue to replace asbestos-containing materials at several schools for $200,000. Technology infrastructure improvements, so those are network improvements in conjunction with federal E-rate funding for $100,000. Vehicle for the 18 to 22 Atlas program, which is housed here at DHS, is on there. And 2 maintenance vehicles to replace basically rotting trucks that are more than 10 years old are on the list, total of $615,000. So I guess I would just say that I appreciate the work of the Capital Improvement Planning Committee and their efforts to incorporate some of our needs into the plan for this year's town meeting. Much better outcome than last year. So,
Chris? Quick. Thank you. Mr. Kiley, quick question. Did they say anything about the generator at Quinn?
Didn't make the cut.
Didn't make the cut. All right. Possibility of October or no idea?
Everything else on the list is potentially up for October.
Okay, thank you.
We'll see.
Yep.
Anyone else? Questions for Mr. Kiley? Dr. Saban?
Okay, I just have a couple other things, if that's okay. So I just want to mention, as you know, Mrs. Beckwith, I know you know, spring sports season is winding up. I know you're looking forward probably to some warmer weather. I am as well. I'm hoping to catch a few more of the events. I'm definitely watching the weather. But so far, again, our teams are doing really well out there. So they're always competitive. That's what I'm finding out. And what's really impressive is just how collegial the students are with one another. And that is something that I think the students in the community here should be really proud of. I do want to mention unified sports. Special Olympics this is a really great opportunity if you have time. Will be next May 17th from 9:30 to 11:45 at the soccer fields next to the high school. Again, that was one of the first events that I attended after I was appointed superintendent. And I was incredibly impressed, again, with how committed Dartmouth staff is to making sure that's a successful event, not only for our Dartmouth students, but certainly they're a priority, but really the entire area. Communities all around Dartmouth participate in that event. Mr. Burrow does a wonderful job with that. I'm looking forward to coming back now again and viewing it through a different lens now that I've been here for a bit. I hope that you got to see Greece. If you didn't, that's okay. I have some bragging rights. It was amazing.
It was amazing.
It was just an incredible show. And it was, again, another opportunity. I had like a quick minute to go in and say hello to the students beforehand. And again, it's that sense of community that always strikes me when I see the Dartmouth students together, regardless of whether it's an athletic event or a club or, again, something as really, I think, a big deal as a high school musical. But acting, casting, singing, dancing, directing, producing, set design, Broadway standards. I mean, you've got really great people who are involved in making that happen, and it is a community event. I already mentioned, Mr. Nunes, we haven't forgotten about our sports captains. They're coming in June. The reason that they're not here tonight is...
They're all playing.
they're all playing.
Yeah.
And so as much as we thought this would be a good time to do it, we looked at the calendar and said, they're not going to be around. So they're actually, some of them are going to have to return after graduation in June to see us, so. But we're excited about having them here. So that's really it. It was, again, lots of exciting things. Get out there into the schools right now because this is really a joyous time.
It is.
Yep. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you for your update. It's always much appreciated.
Thank you.
Report of the chair. So a couple of things I have. I did want to bring this up, that Ms. Coughlin has informed me that she is not able to attend and speak at the Dartmouth Middle School graduation. Scheduling conflict, she didn't realize when she accepted the role of vice chair. So not sure what anyone's thoughts are. I do know that Mrs. Amaral, her daughter, I believe, is graduating 8th grade, and it might be nice for Miss Amaral to
She's
do
not
that.
here, so we can appoint
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
And she's also,
I think she's watching, though.
yeah.
I think she knows.
Yeah.
So,
that would be
does
fine.
anyone have any objections to
None.
that?
I don't get fired over that.
No.
Fired. It's going to take a lot more than that. We need you
Anyway,
here.
I really appreciate Kathleen for stepping in for me, and I will hope to be here for everything else.
Thank you. Just a couple of housekeeping things. I just want to try to look at, I don't know if you have yet, policy subcommittee meetings and trying to get something established on the books. I don't know if you have yet.
I'm on it.
Who else?
Is Kathleen
I
on
think
it?
it must be Kathleen.
Kathleen.
I was, no longer.
One of the things I was thinking of is that if it has been, I don't know when the last time we actually went through the entire policy manual, but I do know that MASC offers,
208.
what's that?
2008, 2009, 10 in that vicinity.
Really?
It's time.
Yeah.
So it may be worthwhile.
2013, we went through the whole thing.
The whole
Is
thing.
that okay?
Yeah.
I knew it was in that vicinity.
I don't know what your thoughts are.
Oh, I lived there, I remember.
Yeah.
Mr. Kiley or Dr. Saban Maguire, but I know MASC offers a service in which they will work with you and go through the entire manual for a nominal fee. And then they can also host it. I don't know if you have any interest in that, but that is something that I would like to see the committee take up soon, is starting to look over and update many of the policies that are out there. And then last but not least is I'm interested in, so we did this prior to COVID, but I'd like to see us schedule a workshop, a school committee workshop in maybe August or September.
Maybe, yeah.
If that's okay with everyone, and that's really to look over maybe doing some agenda setting, as well as, I think it's important in talking with our superintendent that I'd love to have this committee set some goals as to what we're looking for collaboratively, for the district. I think if we could come up with some goals, I think that would help greatly, steer the district. And also gives a little bit of guidance to Dr. Saban Maguire as well. So I don't know if you want to, we don't need to set it today, but if you could just take a look at your calendars, and then it doesn't even have to be on a Monday night, maybe we can work something out. And I'm thinking either August or September.
Yeah, I'd rather do it in August before the school session starts.
So we
Personally.
can work to send out some dates to you.
That'd be great.
All right, great.
Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Great.
That's fine.
Great. And that's all I have right now. Like Dr. Saban Maguire said, I did have an opportunity to see Greece as well. Fantastic talent there, and talent behind the scenes, on the stage, all around. So kudos to them. Anyone else?
I got a couple of things, thank you. I didn't get a chance to get here Thursday night because I had another commitment, but I was here Wednesday for the strategic planning and that, and I snuck into they were still setting up, and some of the students were there for the art show type of deal. And again, as always, just a fantastic you know, and we've got everything back here again, and it's just unbelievable what our students do. And, you know, I know I'm a broken record, but, you know, they're all first place, you know, gold medalists, however they classify them type of deal, but just, you know, wonderful for that. Spring concerts are starting up for all the schools, so that'll be going on. I know senior week is coming, senior prom, junior banquet this week type of deal. Seniors, please be safe, you know, that type of deal. It's just one of those wonderful things that I think about. And I had it written down, and Dr. Saber McGuire talked about it a little bit, the strategic plan, but, you know, just as one member of that committee is just unbelievable, the work that is going on. And the 3 high school students that we have are unbelievable. I mean, number one, they're not afraid to speak their mind politely, and also, you know, that type of deal. But their ideas are just unbelievable and very well thought out, and, you know, how we're going to do it. And we were putting stuff together last meeting, and the gentleman that we had was, well, can we spin it this way? This is how it works. And another gentleman in a different group went, you know, that way, and, you know, the young lady in the third went that way. You know, it was just the way they collaborated by them, but it all flowed through, and they, you know, it was nice. Absolutely nice with those three there. We're in good hands.
Happy to hear that.
So, that's that. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Nunes. Good.
So I will just want to reiterate, Greece was fabulous. Just talent in every direction, behind the stage, in front of the stage, singing, dancing, fabulous. And the art show was really impressive. I love the fact that we could see every grade, every student's talent, and as they progressed through the grades and what they learned, and showing emotion and their special eye on the world. I just thought the art show was fabulous. And thirdly, I'll just remind everyone that tomorrow night is the 12th annual Spelling Bee, 7 o'clock, be there or be square. Bee.
I can't believe I didn't bring that up. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Thank you.
That's it.
All right. Thank you very much. Next regularly scheduled meeting of the Dartmouth School Committee is, it looks like, Monday, June 3rd, 6 p.m., right here in the Dartmouth High School Media Center. At this time, the Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn into executive session for the purposes for a update on a Level 3 grievance with the DEA and personnel matter, not to reconvene.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nunes, a second by Ms. Coughlin. On the motion, any other discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Coughlin.
Chris Oliver?
Yes.
Elizabeth Coughlin?
Yes.
Mary Beckwith?
Yes.
John Nunes?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. This meeting is adjourned.